Hey, this is Pat Freeman here on the network with my partner Chris Stevenson. How you doing, Chris?
How's it going, Pat?
It's a lot to talk about. Today we're going to talk about the oil spill disaster on the Gulf Coast. Once again, the right-wingers are going after President Obama. How do you take the blame? How can they try to put the blame, Chris, on President Obama with something that had absolutely nothing to do with him? And if you look back in history from the disaster from the Exxon Valdez, which occurred in March of 1989, it seems that other presidents should have put together a better response plan to an event like this after such a disaster occurred so many years ago under Bush #1.
Yeah, they've had, since 1989 to be proactive about this.
Right.
And make corrections. This blaming Obama now is more or less just a knee-jerk reaction. You know, that's the first thing that comes to their mind. Blame Obama. Obama was misled to a certain extent, I believe, by British Petroleum,
right?
The BP people. Anyway, they minimized the seriousness of it, and now the truth is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what is Obama to do under those circumstances? He may have just gauged his reaction to what they were telling him initially.
Right.
But now it's gotten a lot more serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so a lot of these people, you talk about corporate America, you're dealing with, or even corporate Europe, with British Petroleum. Always expect the unexpected. Always expect cover-ups, expect lies. That's the way it is, and then you have to work from there.
They've already filed a lawsuit against British Petroleum,
yes,
for responsibility with this disaster. I think President Obama has handled this probably much better than we've seen in the past,
yes,
than President Bush 1 or 2, or
exactly,
even President Clinton.
Right, yeah. We were discussing earlier how they're trying to make this into they're calling it his Katrina or whatever.
Right.
Obama's going to have 4 or 5 Katrinas before his term is up, I assume.
Absolutely.
Okay. I can't remember. A few months ago they were calling something else his Katrina. I can't remember what it was. But there's no comparison. You can't compare everything to Katrina. It's sick to even do that.
Do you think that they're trying to deflect attention, Chris, from probably one of the biggest proposals by President Obama to get the economy back where it needs to be, is to put better regulations on Wall Street, and how the right-wing Republican Party is trying to block this action after understanding that it was the deregulation of Wall Street and banks, Fannie Mae and Sony Mae and Sally Mae, or whoever they're called, have wrecked the economy.
Bernie Mac and Sally Mae.
Who have wrecked the economy of this country. Do you think this is just something to deflect away from the fact that the right-wing conservatives are trying to block regulation on Wall Street?
Yeah, I think so. The funny thing about it, these regulations took place near the end of the Clinton administration.
Right.
So it seems like Clinton was preparing the way for Bush to come in, and Bush wasn't elected, of course. He bogarted his way to 2 elections, especially the first one, the Supreme Court putting him in, but he was outvoted twice in a row. So there are certain forces behind this that manipulated and maneuvered the Bush administration into certain positions in order to get these things done. They're trying to, this is all a deflection, a distraction, okay, to make us not think of all these things. Because, this corruption here, it runs far and deep.
Do you think it's an accident that, once again, we're seeing the Gulf Coast region, one of the biggest oil producers, that Bush was also responsible for deregulating oil forecasting, in which gas prices got totally out of control during his administration? The gas price industry and oil, crude oil, was basically deregulated into a speculative type of industry, whereas they could speculate on demand and profits of the oil industry to set the price, rather than was there an oil shortage. There has not been an oil shortage, but gas prices have continued to energy prices continue to rise.
One thing that you're right, that's very true. One thing they did, they created a myth called peak oil. In other words, give you they're trying to create this suggested that hey, you know, oil's going to run out in a few years.
Right.
Oil's not going to run out for a it's going to be way past our lifetime.
Exactly.
You know, before you see the end of oil. You know, and oil was put here for a purpose. Okay, it's an energy source. It's a supporter. It's a life giver to man. You know, so you know, but you know, they did all this stuff going. You know, it went on for some time, and you know, it's a horrible thing.
Yeah, and you're also seeing Obama has stressed